I cannot tell you what a pleasure it is to be here and to speak on this important topic. My name is Anna. As Irene said, I work for PepsiCo. For those of you who don't know PepsiCo, we make food and we make drinks, and they're sold around the world. I would like to start this session a little bit to ask you a question, because I think we probably have a very similar experience every day when we wake up, no matter where we live in the world. When you turn on the news, do you see terrifying stories about climate change, plastics in the ocean, adverse weather? Yes, I'm guessing yes. And so do I. And I've got to be honest, there are certainly times when I look at this news coverage and look in the environment around us, and I think the issues are so big, so what can we really do to tackle it? But I think it is absolutely key that we do, because otherwise we won't have a planet to live on in the future. And I think that each and every one of us can make a very important contribution to making that happen. And that includes the private sector, companies such as the one that I work for. I would like to start, if I can get this to work, by telling you a little story about something that I experienced recently which really, really marked me. So, this should be forward. Yes. So, it happened at an event called The Next Big Idea. So now you're probably going to ask me, what on earth is that? It's actually pretty cool. It's an online game that we play in PepsiCo every year. It's anonymous. Everybody can play. Teams form organically online. You could be playing with the CEO, you could be playing with your neighbor, you could be playing with people in other countries. The whole point is to encourage diversity, to encourage different opinions, and of course to find the next big idea for the company. And that can be anything. It can be a product, it can be something that is good for the environment, it can be ways of working, it can be anything. And so I attended this event last year. The final was held in Switzerland, and it's a hotly contested thing. I can tell you people really get into this, but I don't know who they're actually playing with until they come to the final. So guess who won? This lovely team of all women, most of them recent graduates, most of them my daughter and my son's age, and they came up with a groundbreaking idea for a plastic-free product solution that's in development right now. And as you can see, they look pretty happy behind me, and I must admit, I was very happy when I saw this team winning as well. Now, but why I'm telling you this story is that what stuck with me is really the optimism, the passion that they exhibited, and their focus on finding solutions, because I think when we're overwhelmed with news stories about the state of the world, it can be difficult sometimes to really think, what can I do? Okay, what is the focus that I can bring to this conversation? So, taking that cue, I will speak now a little bit about some of the things that we're doing at PepsiCo. As I said, we make food and we make drinks, so you can imagine that there are many, many issues associated with what we make and sell, and many impacts on it, from climate change to the fact that we sell many of our products in plastics that clog up the environment. So we have quite a lot of work to do. Now, that journey started about a decade ago when we took a hard look at our operations, really went through everything and thought, okay, how can we limit the water that's used to grow the crops? How can we have the minimal to no impact on the environment through agriculture? How can we save water in our plants? You know, how can we limit emissions? How can we tackle plastics, which is still a big issue today? And I'd like to share with you three examples of this. And I want to say up front, because I'm sure probably many of you sit through presentations where corporations present, I'm not here to bombard you with corporate propaganda, okay, so you can breathe easy. What I am here to do is to share in the spirit of collaboration and learning. Because clearly I would not be at an event like this if we had all the answers, and we don't. But we have a lot of projects that are in motion, and I hope you will find it interesting to hear about them. So, the first one, I'd like to take you to the farms. Now, for those of you who live in Northern Europe, you will probably remember that last summer was very hot and very long, and there was a very severe drought that impacted that, a phenomenon that we expect we will see more and more around the world because of climate change. So, if you make food products and you can't get the things that go into making your food products because of severe weather, you clearly have to do something. So we have a long-standing sustainable farming program that we run, and which we continue to evolve and work on with universities, et cetera, so that we can help farmers grow a sustainable food supply, but also do it in a way whereby they use the least amount of water, the least amount of nutrients, so that they can improve their livelihoods and their crop yields, but to do it in a sustainable way. There are thousands of farmers in this program, which is currently in 38 countries, and we're constantly working to improve it and to expand it so that we can have a positive impact through that. Second one is water. I mean, without water, I don't think any of us would be here on this planet. It's essential to our life on Earth. It's also a critical resource for a company that makes drinks. So it's very important that we as PepsiCo, we play a role in conserving water and replenishing water. Now, the picture that you see behind me is from Cape Town, which has suffered severe drought for quite some time. And last year we started a project with the Nature Conservancy, and the aim here really is to replenish the water, but to try to do it through natural means. Now, usually something like this would take large-scale engineering projects and stuff like that, but that's not what we're doing here. We're working with experts to see if we can reintroduce water through natural means, and in this case, by eliminating invasive plant species that are not native to Southern Africa that have settled in the reservoir. We're very optimistic that over the next couple of years, we'll be able to introduce an additional 2 months of water supply into the reservoir every year. It's just one example, but I thought I would share it with you because sometimes small solutions can have a big impact. The third one is, of course, plastics. And this is an enormous problem, issue, an opportunity to solve. I'm sure you will all agree with that. I'm sure that no matter where you live, you will see plastics pollution in the environment. You will have problems with recycling. And you will also be faced with the fact that most of the products you buy are packaged in plastics because it's a very important material for food safety. That doesn't mean that we should not be doing anything. And I'm not going to stand here and pretend it's going to be easy because it's not. But this is one of the single biggest things that we're working on at the moment in terms of improving recycling rates, encouraging consumers to recycle, looking for alternative types of packaging, because that's clearly going to be important. And also trialing reusable packaging formats that can be returned and reused so that we don't end up with more waste out there. Now, like with all these things, I'm standing here talking on behalf of one company, but clearly these issues are so big that it takes much more than one company. I mean, PepsiCo cannot solve this on its own. It's really on a global scale that these problems, these issues affect all of us. So we're also working through global partnerships, such as the Alliance to End Plastic Waste, the Recycling Initiative, and the World Economic Forum's project on tackling plastic waste. What all these three initiatives have in common is really the fact that they involve governments, they involve private industry, they involve NGOs, they involve local communities, because, as I said, the issues are so big that we really need the broadest possible mass of organizations involved in solving that to have a real impact. Now, none of this is going to happen without women. And I think that's probably why we're all here. There's a lot of energy in this room, a lot of talent, and a lot of will to make things happen for the better. What we did at PepsiCo a couple of years ago is that we committed $100 million to fund female education by 2025, and we expect that by 2025, over 12 million women and girls will have benefited from that. What type of education am I talking about, and what kind of initiatives? It's really about the skills that are needed to tackle the issues that I just mentioned. It's science, it's technology, it's mathematics, it's skills that will be crucial in terms of getting the innovation that we will need to tackle these big issues that are before us. So these are the examples that I wanted to share with you. I think that having spent some time now at the conference and met many of you, that we will be able to find the next big idea if we all put our minds to it. But what is crucial is that everybody plays a role. Because we can talk about redefining success all we want, but if we don't have a planet to live on, it doesn't really matter in the end. But I'm confident that with the energy and the talent and the drive, we can achieve that. So I want to thank you for listening to me. Thank you very much.